Hey everyone, what's going on? Jeff here from Films at Home, and today we're going to take a look at another 4K disc. This is a brand new 4K release. We're taking a look at Shrek, the 20th anniversary edition on 4K today. This disc is going to be available on May 11th, so I'm getting this out just about a week ahead of time as of making this video. So I'll let you guys know about the visuals, the audio, any of the special features and packaging upgrades you should know about, and overall whether or not I think that this release is worth upgrading from your existing Blu-ray or DVD. So I'm going to jump right into the review here, and first of all I want to say it's really hard to believe that it's been 20 years since Shrek came out. Shrek was definitely a big part of my childhood, coming out in 2001. I was about 9-10 years old. It was right in that sweet spot where you're looking for, you know, the next step above maybe Disney movies. You're moving past the Toy Stories and into some of the more, you know, controversial, almost adult animation stuff. You start watching The Simpsons and things like that. And Shrek came along and it had that perfect mix of like adult humor, edgy humor, you know, gross out stuff that a 9-10-year-old kid would love. And so I loved Shrek. I remember loving it, watching it so much, and, you know, watched it on VHS, DVD, have seen the Blu-ray, have seen it in many different formats. So it's just hard to believe that it's been 20 years. I guess that truly means I'm getting old. But Universal has put this out on 4K for this 20th anniversary edition, and it's a very interesting release because there was a thread going around on Twitter probably about 2 months ago now when it was first released, and one of the people who worked on the movie and did some of the rendering in the animation, he mentioned how compressed this digital intermediate was. The final version of Shrek was basically exported in JPEG. It was like compressed at 98% quality, so it wasn't compressed at full quality. And he had a lot of sort of questions and comments about how's this really going to look on 4K? How good could it really look? Because the old digital masters are completely gone and they just have the rendered version, which is compressed and in this old JPEG format. So you can definitely see as you watch this that this is not the cleanest 4K animated movie. Now, I've seen things from Pixar, like Toy Story and Toy Story 2 and 3 and 4, the sequels. I've seen some of like the newer Pixar stuff like Soul or Coco or Moana, like those movies, and even some of the old Disney classics when they're restored in 4K really pop and really make a huge difference because obviously they were rendered at a little bit higher quality. They probably spent a lot more money on it than DreamWorks could at the time with Shrek, and they probably still have the original files. They could go back and remaster in 4K. I know they did that with Toy Story. So Shrek is kind of tough looking. The animation in this, the one thing I kept thinking, and it's been a while since I've seen it, so the animation is definitely not Disney Pixar quality. The animation honestly looks like some of those cheap Netflix shows for kids where it's really, it's not very detailed animation. It's very soft around the edges. It's very CGI looking, and I just had a hard time because I thought it got worse on the 4K. I thought with the 4K disc a lot more of that compression was noticeable. There were definitely moments where I was seeing blurriness or I was seeing artifacts in the animation, especially on Donkey. The character Donkey's hair itself, when it moves, you could kind of see that it wasn't full quality, and it looks like they maybe tried to do some sort of an upscale from what they had, because there are moments that look sharper than the Blu-ray, but then there are moments that look arguably worse. So it definitely looks like some sort of artificial intelligence or program was used to render and upscale the 4K, because there are slight improvements. But overall, Shrek in 4K is probably not a movie you really need on 4K. It's the animation just isn't there. Your Blu-ray is going to be more than good enough in terms of just detail, quality, resolution. Now, the interesting difference is that this does come with HDR10, so you get the HDR upgrade. Now, again, I didn't notice a massive difference, and you'll see if you look at the Twitter thread, which I'm going to link from the guy who worked in the movie, it was rendered again at a very, I think he said 8-bit color, and so how do you move that up to an HDR color space? It's again going to be sort of an upscale, some sort of software kind of faking it, and I just didn't see a huge difference. Yeah, Shrek is a little bit brighter and some of the contrast is a little bit better in some areas, but it's really not a big leap over the Blu-ray. And again, in a lot of instances, I kind of liked the way it looked on Blu-ray better. I thought the added resolution in the HDR and all that extra stuff, which is exposing more of the, lower scale animated feature that we have here. Anytime it gets higher quality, it's going to expose more of the issues with the original source. And that's what we definitely got here with Shrek in 4K. So I really, from a visual standpoint, wasn't very impressed. I think it was just fine. Personally, I'd stick with the Blu-ray for visuals. Now for audio, this is a very interesting release as well, because we've got a DTS-X soundtrack on this. And that's different and odd because the Blu-ray had a Dolby True HD 7.1. So I would have guessed that they would have gone from Dolby True HD up to a Dolby Atmos, but instead they swapped over to DTS-X. Sort of interesting. It really doesn't make a huge difference, and the DTS-X source is a DTS Master Audio 7.1, so it's very similar to the Dolby True HD 7.1. And the DTS-X, honestly, it doesn't add a whole lot. There were a few moments where I picked up some extra surround effects, maybe a little bit on the heights, but it really didn't add much over what was already a pretty good 7.1 source. So you do get that upgraded audio format to DTS-X, but I don't think that's a huge selling point for this release. It would be hard to sell me on just that upgrade being worth it here. Now for packaging, as you've seen, we got a slipcover here, and please ignore how banged up mine is. I don't know if this was Universal or if this was the FedEx guy or what, but the corners are banged up. Some of the paint's peeling off of the slipcover already. I've got silver marks all over it. It's a disaster, but it says 20th anniversary. Same on the inside. Does come with a digital copy, and we got a wonderful disc tray because that just fell right out when I opened this. So that's not great, but anyway, here's the 4K disc. Then you've got your Blu-ray, 4K, Blu-ray, and bonus feature disc. So the 4K disc does have some artwork on it, which is new. The other two are just plain Blu-rays, and it does have that Blu-ray bonus feature disc, which is nice because this is loaded with special features. Even on the 4K, there are several special features that have been ported over from the Blu-ray, so you don't have to switch between two discs if you want some of the special features. And on this included extra Blu-ray, there's like 5 or 6 episodes of the Puss in Boots animated series, which is brand new. A lot of the other stuff is ported over, but it is truly an anniversary release. Some of these anniversary releases just come so bare bones. They're just re-releases for the money. The 4K part of this is a little gimmicky and doesn't work well for Shrek, but if you're looking for the ultimate, 20th anniversary release, this has more special features and more content than any other, so that could be a reason to upgrade if you're a super fan of the Shrek series. So overall, Shrek on 4K, it's a really hard sell, and it's not Universal's fault, it's not DreamWorks, it's not the animation team. It all goes back 20 years ago to the limited budget they were on, the compression, the JPEG export, everything that went into those decisions, which at the time was probably fine. It probably wasn't a big deal. Again, it wasn't Disney Pixar quality, but the animation was pretty good for 2001. The problem is 20 years later, it really starts to lose its luster, and the 4K really exposes a lot of the animation problems or issues that Shrek had. And these are things you probably don't notice as a kid, but then you grow up and you're doing 4K reviews for, home entertainment and home theater enthusiasts, and you start to notice that it's really not great. So the 4K I can't really recommend for visuals. You would get upgraded audio to DTS-X, and you do get a bunch of new special features, especially all those Puss in Boots episodes are cool. If you're a fan of the movie and of the Shrek kind of universe and series, this would be a nice release, but it's a really hard sell over some of the Blu-rays out there. I can't see somebody dropping $20 to upgrade here. If you've never bought the movie before, this is not a bad way to purchase it. You'll get a 4K plus the Blu-ray, so you'll have both viewing experiences and all those special features. So for a first-time buyer, that could be good. But if you're upgrading, you need to be really sold on the special features and the added bonus features on this or the audio, because the visuals just aren't there. So hope you guys enjoyed this review. I don't mean to trash on Shrek, because again, like I said, this is not the fault of anybody at the studios. It's a source problem, and I think whatever upscale they did, they tried really hard to make it look better for 4K. And like I said, there are certain moments that certainly do, but there are a lot of other moments where it arguably looks worse. So it's a really tough movie to bring to 4K, and it's not one I could recommend in full faith. So if you do want to buy it and you're a super fan, or maybe a first-time buyer who I said this would be a good purchase for, the link will be down in the description. But do your research, shop carefully on this one, make sure it's really worth it. But I think this one will drop in price pretty quick because it's not the type of movie that, again, is really suited for the format. I could see this being $5 to $10 by Black Friday of this year. So you may just want to wait on it, and at that price point, that's not a bad pickup for your collection. So thank you for watching this review. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Check me out on social media. TikTok and Instagram are the two main places you can find me. I've also just opened up a new private Discord channel for channel members. You can find a link to become a channel member down in the description. It's only $1.99 a month. I'm going to start adding some more benefits, but the private Discord server, we've got a handful of people over there right now. You can use it to discuss movies, build the community there, and that's a nice little benefit for channel members at this point. And then also make sure you check out all the other links and ways you can support my channel. I really appreciate that, as well as the Shrek 4K link if that's what you're looking for. Those purchases help support me as well. So appreciate all the support, all the views lately. We've been growing fast and still looking to hit that 100,000 subscriber number. So make sure you subscribe and like this video to share it with everybody in this community and grow physical media. I really appreciate that. But other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will talk to you soon.